Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Hello, good evening, good morning, whenever you're listening. Fine folks at home.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going, Trev?
Pretty good.
Boink. Got a drink there.
Yep.
Are you drinking?
Yeah, for once. 5 Seeds Crisp Apple.
Nice. Let's do click bitch. That's the preamble out of the way. Nobody wants to hear what we're drinking or what we're doing. Click pitch. This is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We each click refresh, get a new word, jam them together, connect them into some strange game design Frankenstein. Franken-design. There you go.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then we bring it to life. It's alive! Shall we do it?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, click.
Knocking.
Computation.
Ooh, knocking computation. I'm picturing some sort of, like, you know how there are a few games out there that when they provide complex enough systems, like Minecraft or something, people build computers out of them. Mm-hmm. That this is some sort of game where we just put the building blocks together for, like, transmitting information via, like, knocking on a pipe or something. It travels along the pipe, comes out the other end.
So Morse code.
Well, yeah, but it can trigger things, right? And so we just provide the base tools for being able to, like, combine these sounds in some way and send them along pipes and, like, repeaters to send them further on to make some sort of construction game out of it. And people will then build, you know, basic computers and put fucking Doom on there or something.
What I would like to see, and this may or may not work, but just the idea of knocking, I kind of like the idea of there being a physical knock sort of happening.
Yeah.
So you have to actually have the Donkey Konga bongos.
Well, I don't know about having to have them. I think it would be a good accessory. I kind of like the idea that, like some of these games, and look, I may be a little influenced by the fact that we're going to go and play Satisfactory after this. But I like the idea that initially you literally have to hit it with a stick. But that lets you, like, automate things because it sends the sound down and that triggers a thing and, like, turns on a machine or something. I don't know, or communicates with something to tell it to do something. But then later on, you're literally building machines that then hit other pipes or, like, a series of pipes to fire off multiple things at once. Like, that's maybe how you're transmitting the information. Maybe they're just like monkeys. Maybe there's not machines. Maybe it's monkeys. And when they hear a sound, they'll repeat it. But if you haven't, like, early on, you haven't trained your monkeys up well enough, they won't always get it right. Like, they only get it right, like, 85% of the time or something. So you can have shit go wrong because you sent the wrong message or they sent the wrong message when repeating it.
Jesus Christ.
God, I think we could build something cool there. Systems based.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that kind of like a well, you said satisfactory, so I'm thinking in the satisfactory way of you sort of got to go off and, like, forage for things, so you don't just have all the tools to make all the pipes that you need.
Well, and you've got to keep your monkeys fed. Eventually, you're getting to the point where you've got automated monkey machines that feed the other monkeys to keep your actual stuff going. And the end goal is to just, like, basically have a perpetual motion machine, which, you know, maybe within our game we can make it so you can output more energy than you put in, because then you just, like, feed one banana to the first monkey and they hit a bunch of pipes, which like goes along, which triggers things to pick more bananas to feed more monkeys to trigger more things. And then eventually that first monkey gets a banana and the whole cycle goes over again.
But what happens when one inevitably, like, is about to get sound, but he's masturbating? So he's
there's also
he's otherwise occupied.
Automated castration of monkeys. They go along the, like, conveyor, slices their balls off. I mean, there is going to be a lot of just poop. And I mean, maybe you can build that into the communication system. I don't know, but yeah. We are the amazing drumming monkeys. They're like a local kids
Hey, we're the monkeys.
Yeah, it's all obviously monkey based like soundtrack.
Then I saw your poop, and I'm a believer.
3 to 1 click. Retail.
Issuing.
Okay. Maybe something about coupons. Or receipts or something, or both. Well, we did a Papers, Please extreme couponing game. So it needs to be different.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Jesus Christ.
we did when we had to like check all the conditions on the coupons and make sure they were all right. Maybe this is the different end of it. Maybe this is like some sort of marketing simulation where you have to issue the coupons. And it's a balance between making them attractive enough, but you need to we could make it that it's really easy, basically, for the extreme couponers to take advantage of. So you have to be really careful and make them like ironclad. But if they're not valuable enough, then people won't buy your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's one clause that you can really screw the extreme couponing group out of everything.
Cannot be used with any other offers.
Exactly.
I feel like there's going to be some sort of penalty for that. Maybe this is a game where it's sort of a bit more abstract than that, and it's almost more of a puzzle game where you've got a goal of, I don't know, a certain amount of sales or something, but you've only got certain tools, and those tools are like the conditions that you can put on it. Do you know what I mean? So it ends up being like the ratio of new sales versus money lost because of your lost profits. So if you, and maybe they like stack. So early on, it's like, okay, I've got one, I can set a range for, I don't know, percentage off. But I've only got one slot for conditions, and I've only got like 2 conditions to choose from. And it's either, maximum 3 per customer, or,
expires next week.
Yeah, or expiry. Yeah, because then it could come down to how many you print as well. Like if you print too many early on of this doesn't expire, then they're going to be coming back to haunt you, and you're going to lose money. You're going to be constantly just sort of hemorrhaging money as people come and use these coupons on your products. But yeah, you later,
especially what I'm thinking is, especially later on, where you've already put a sale on for this one particular item of say 50%.
Yes,
and then this first coupon that you released happened to have, 25% off the ticketed price.
Exactly.
And that's all it said.
Yes. So I like that idea of it building up over time. All the coupons you make are still going to be out there to some degree. And yeah, you can set an expiry on them, but like you've only got enough room for a certain number of conditions. And then it kind of, I think it just comes down to, I don't know how it's presented as such. Like it could even be like you sort of see quickly a sort of a series of customers come through, and you get a tally of what coupons they're making. Like it's sort of, they're using, sorry. So maybe it's like, okay, we need to put in a new coupon, and then it sort of does a time lapse of a month's time. Mm-hmm. Visualize sort of, I'm thinking just maybe a pretty simple 8-bit sort of style of customers coming in past the checkout, buying because you might have different products as well, right? Like a range of 5 or 10 products. So you're also choosing what to put on sale at what time and that sort of thing. But it comes by and it says, okay, like ding, 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 and basically gives you a statistically significant, sampling of, well, this many of this type of coupon were used. And this is how much money you're making per sale and that sort of thing.
I'm seeing this as like a mum and pop's sort of grocery store. Sort of like it's a full-on simulator. So if you wanted to, you could sort of jump into the manager's shoes and basically say, okay, he's out there on the till, so you've got like almost a clicker sort of thing happening that you're able to, each time that you click, you're sort of scanning an item, and then you've got to put in the bag or something like that. You can have,
so you're thinking the coupon stuff is maybe only one aspect of a full-on. It's one aspect
of a full-on like
I think it needs
market
to be
simulator sort of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than a rather than a
just a
farm simulator and all those sort of things. You've got this is a market simulator.
Yeah, maybe.
And
I could see a few ways you could go with it. I feel like with the coupon thing, if that's going to be your focus, you can't. I don't think your product range can be too wide, right? Because it needs to be that you're putting out new coupons for the same products as you have previously, so that you get that opportunity for them to stack and build up and come back to bite you in the butt. I was almost wondering if it could be a mobile game. Like, it's a bit of an idle game, but the way that you influence it is by putting out these coupons, and maybe by like raising and lowering prices of other products and that sort of thing. So you could have a bit where you can just sit there and click away if you like, and maybe that can give you a bit of extra. Maybe you can upsell. Maybe if you're there, like, actively in front of it, you can make a bit extra cash because you upsell things, impulse buys and stuff. But otherwise, it just kind of runs in the background on your phone. You can come back and check, and you can see, how many of this type of coupon we use. Ah, shit! Like I forgot that, that those two were gonna influence each other, and people were going to be able to use them together. And I've just sold out of all this stock, and they were all sold at a loss. And so then it
could also be that you've put out 400 coupons for this one particular piece of stock. Something happened from the what's it called? From the supplier. They couldn't supply 400 of these things.
And so now you're in trouble because you got all these people showing up.
You've not got the stock to actually deal with it. How do you deal with this now? Do you choose a like-minded item that you can discount, or is that going to actually lower your profit margins?
Or do you or do you just end up with a bunch of unsatisfied
in this one,
customers?
you put like a week's worth of expiry date on this particular coupon, so
right.
You could definitely have that sort of bite you in the ass as well. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I like the idea of being a phone game, and then you'll get a notification of like, shortage at the supplier for this thing in stock, and you have to sort of make a decision about how you're going to deal with it, like what the policy is.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. I feel like there's a lot of depth there that could be really fun, and has the opportunity to actually be quite a use a lot of the mobile gaming kind of revenue generating stuff, but without necessarily being too annoying. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there's all those fucking idle games out there and stuff. And I guess I kind of get the appeal of them, but they just flood the store. And once you've played it for like 2 minutes, it's like, oh, okay, so I literally just never click it again. Like, I don't know, or like, yeah, I don't get it. But whereas this could give you a bit more strategy as to how it could move forward, as opposed to just always progressing forward, Well, the DLC is you purchase other aisles in the store in which that you want to add coupons to. Right, so you get different ranges. So you've got like the health food aisle, you've got like the deli, you've got like the fresh produce, and as you do that, you've got to deal with more coupons and Yeah, you could do it that way. I was kind of originally thinking it as like a electronics store or something, like bigger ticket items, but I could see how it could work well for grocery
extreme
coupons.
Couponing usually definitely feels
it's
usually
like groceries,
grocery,
for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. It's got some sweet mechanics in there. Comic
drill.
Oh, all right. We don't do many like comic book sort of inspired themes. So what sort of comic book character would have a drill, or be a drill, or have a part of their body be a drill?
So it's a hero called the Handyman.
Okay.
He's got basically a drill with lots of different bits that he can sort of deal with.
Okay.
He can drill out rivets. He can put on like a Phillips bit and like screw in bits of wood and shit.
Where's the superhero bit come from? Because at the moment it's literally just a handyman.
Well, most of the time he is a handyman. That's his secret identity. When he's like out there as the handyman, he
sprouts an extra 6 hands.
No, he gets an extra 6 drills,
but just still just has 2 hands.
I'm thinking, have you ever seen the movie Super?
Yes, with Rainn Wilson and was that
yes,
what's her name?
It was James Gunn.
Yeah, it was James Gunn, but who else was in it? Wasn't it Ellen Page?
Nathan Fillion, wasn't it?
Wasn't Ellen Page in it?
Oh, she could have been.
Was she like the
was in it,
sidekick?
I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, yes,
Yeah.
I do recall it. It's sort of an R-rated guy who's trying to be a superhero.
And literally has no powers, but he just beats the shit out of people.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, it
think
was Ellen Page,
literally the handyman, he just like drills into the bad guys.
So it's just a violent vigilante, basically. All right. I wonder then, to flip this around a little bit, I wonder if you play someone trying to stop the handyman. The handyman does think he's a hero, and he is only hurting bad guys, but he's literally drilling holes in their skulls.
Yep.
And other parts of their body. So it's not really a kind of, good way to go about this. I don't know whether you play another superhero or just a cop or just a person, like their friend, and you realize that your friend is the secret identity of the handyman, and you're just like, holy shit, dude, you're a fucking murderer. Like, I know they're criminals, but you can't just go around murdering people with a fucking drill. I'm not sure where the gameplay necessarily comes in. That sort of points it more towards a narrative-driven, something. If you're not playing an action-based hero, or maybe you flip back and forth. Maybe it like starts off in a full-on classic, golden or silver age comic book style, intro. The handyman. You start off in sort of an action adventure sort of thing. You jump around. You hear on your police scanner that there's a robbery going on, and then you fucking kill these guys with a drill, and blood goes everywhere. And then it cuts to.
It's the whole, I'll save you like 1940s, 1950s sort of thing, and then
exactly.
It's like, then he just gets the drill out and just puts it straight into the guy's eye.
Yeah, it just totally changes the the tone.
And then it talks about like the police are searching for the driller killer.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it cuts to like a barbecue that you're having the next day, and or like you're now playing the neighbor, and you go over and you want to borrow a drill, and you realize it's covered in like matted hair and blood. Mm-hmm. Or maybe not that obvious, but
I just really love the juxtaposition of like this classic, early Superman-esque.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The like
top
Golden
sort of
Age or Silver Age,
and
kind of back in the 60s style comic book.
With like Sin City-esque violence and
yeah, basically. I wonder then, though, in between, does it cut to kind of regular graphic, or does it stay that style the whole game?
Oh, it stays that style the whole game. It just, gets ultra-violent in parts.
I love the idea of it, because if you're switching back to the neighbor, of it kind of flickering out of that mode, and you see like a really realistic view. Or maybe it's while maybe you get glimpses from someone else's perspective. And so when you're playing the handyman, he sees himself as this Silver Age comic book hero. And then you'll just kind of get like a shot, a cut away or a flicker or something. And you just see this like dark, gory scene where he now just looks like he's in the same pose, but you make it that now he just looks like a fucking serial killer's murderer, he's spattered in blood, and then it kind of flickers back into his perspective, and he's just like heroic. Now the blood splatters, spell out.
I'm just imagining like
American
the shadows and stuff in like the more realism-esque, gory sort of thing. Yeah. And then it flips over to the silver/golden age, and it's all bright colors and
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of playing a few different characters in that, a la, like your, what's it called? Heavy Rain. You know how that flips around between a few different characters, so you're sort of playing different characters within the story.
Ooh, but I like the idea then of each of them having a different like visual style. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
And then exactly who you're sort of playing just based on the style, like.
So yeah, I like the idea that the handyman has, his demented Silver Age of comic books style. The cop has their like gritty noir. They're trying to solve this thing. It's like desaturated, deep shadows. Yeah. It's always raining. And then you cut to, I don't know, is it just a regular, like it's closer to what actual reality is, or do we have something even completely different?
Well, I'm thinking like there's another person who has like an Archie comic sort of view of the world.
Okay.
Where there's sort of like, it's all very wholesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not that over the top.
It's not like the America, superhero-esque thing. It's more high school. Or maybe it's closer to like Casper or Richie Rich style. Like it actually changes the views because they were very wholesome comics. Like everyone was pretty nice to each other. And so it's this person who just like is a super optimist. And
I love it.
And so you have some scenes. And so when you get scenes of these people interacting with each other, that's where it really gets funny. Because you start to like be able to switch back and see different aspects of the conversation from each point of view, and it's just they're not on the same page at all. Or maybe you just like later on, like if we didn't want to switch back and forth that quickly, it's just like you get flashbacks or you replay the same conversation from the other side or something.
From the other person's point of view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the like. I mean, juxtaposition is always one of my favorite things in games when they're showing something.
Well,
that,
like, just has a totally different expectations a bit, particularly when it comes to what video games traditionally do well anyway, which is a lot closer to a kind of comic book style thing where all very black and white hero villain kind of stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I'd play the fuck out of that. All right, 3, 2, 1, click. Here. Operator.
Encouragement.
Okay. So immediately I thought of phone operator.
Yep.
But it could be something else, like operator of some kind of machinery. But I mean, my mind went to a dark place initially, which is like some sort of suicide hotline thing. But I don't know if we want to go there. You can give encouragement in different ways.
I'm seeing this as like an earlier operator. Like, sort of actually having to physically
route calls,
route calls. And because it's a very, very much a thankless job, you need some encouragement to actually keep this going. Mm-hmm. And, so I think it could be like a bit of a play on sort of like, early 50s society that.
Yeah. Well,
the operator was predominantly like, it was a female job.
Yeah.
I'm not being sexist. It's
no. Yes. I believe that, it was mostly women, who did that job. And look, we can play with that as well because, part of being a woman, particularly in the 50s, was you're not taken seriously, right? And so the character could use that to their advantage, and sort of, because I like the idea of, you're almost solving a mystery then. You're able to listen in on phone calls surreptitiously, maybe when you shouldn't be, but and that starts giving you exposition about things that are going on. You start recognizing the people who are calling in and asking to be connected places. And then you can, I don't know, maybe you can even start noticing, particular lights are on your switchboard, which means this line is active, and that, means that a certain person is talking or that a certain, phone is being used or something.
Yeah, and I kind of like the idea that there's like a line that you're sort of told at the start that this particular line must always stay clear.
Yeah.
It's only used in like the most strictest
dire of circumstances. Like,
yeah.
And then you see it
end
flashing.
Of the first act. End of the first act. Basically the entire thing's lit up, and there's nowhere else for you to put this line.
And you're getting real pressure from them. It's like, no, I need to be connected, right now.
So you end up having to use that.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining the issues that'll come out of that.
Oh, I wonder if you could even go paranormal with it. Or maybe not paranormal, but like aliens or something. Or like government conspiracy with
Yeah, I'm thinking,
Men in Black style.
definitely government conspiracy, because I'm thinking like this is an early version of the NSA that you work for.
Right.
You know, the whole idea of being able to listen in on phone calls and that sort of stuff. Like, you know, you're sort of encouraged to listen in and take notes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The NSA was formed in 1952, so you got the timing right.
I kind of like the idea that this is an early sort of thing, but what you're listening out for is certain keywords.
That's neat, actually. I like that idea that, you know, they're trying to keep you in the dark. You don't have clearance. You're basically just a cog in their machine, and so, they just give you a list of keywords or a list of names or something, and you have to, like, flag the times, you know, write down in your notebook when something happens. But, inevitably, you start finding things out and you know, you start keeping maybe your own secret notebook. And it's going to kind of start solving things yourself. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I like the idea of there being some mundane phone calls that just sort of...
Yeah, of course. And look, you don't want to bore the player, but I think maybe you've just got these sort of side stories going on a bit. You want them interesting enough. So maybe the sort of more mundane phone calls have a few sort of soap opera-ish stories going on.
I like the idea that she's sort of talking to her mum, sort of saying, these are kind of like my stories, sort of thing. I just listen into these people and it's like, it's fascinating learning about how James's mum has been really sick, but she's been getting better and all this sort of stuff. And they start going through these things, but then something that she hears is also like, it's quite concerning or...
Yeah. Well, you could have some situations where she hears something that, you know, she should really report to the police or something. You kind of make a choice about that. Not to do with the conspiracy, just a general kind of, you know, morality thing. Yeah. But also, I then like the idea, though, that once you do start finding out about this government conspiracy, you realize that one of the sort of stories you've been following actually is involved with it. So what you thought was a mundane story going on, it's actually been like code words the whole time. And once you've learned those code words, it's like, oh, fuck. And you can go back through your notes and realize the whole time they were like communicating in code when they were talking about like James's mum being sick or whatever. Like that. Yeah. Or just like government plot or whatever. Yeah. Like some faction and you managed to decode the code and then you can go back and listen and go, oh, fuck. Yeah. When they're saying James' mum is sick, they actually meant, you know, the leader of this country is out and about or has been assassinated or something, you know, or should be assassinated.
So I've been playing quite a bit of like the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games lately. Mm-hmm. So I'm really in that mood of investigations and like finding evidence out and all this sort of stuff. I see this sort of game as perfect for something on like a 3DS or even a Switch. Just something that you can interact with the touchscreen.
Yeah.
While also, you know, being able to take some notes and, you know, select pieces of
evidence or something or knowledge.
Evidence or select lines of dialogue to actually mark down in a notebook sort of thing. I think that would actually really feel like you're part and parcel of what sort of information you want to track.
I almost see it a little bit like, and I never actually played this, even though I've been meaning to for a long time, that game Her Story, where... I mean, only sort of, but just in that it is these pre-recorded stories, but you're getting different bits of them at different times and having to kind of piece them together based on that. And then know, because I think the sorts of choices you have to make are, you know, which line do you listen into at any particular time? You know, I could listen in over here and see if, you know, Freddie and Janet are going to hook up, or I can listen over here where, you know, the head of security at fucking Bain Tower, I don't know, who's in deep with the president or whatever, you know, what they're talking about. But you can only listen to one, or you can try to switch back and forth, but you're going to miss bits. And yeah. And maybe later on, though, you get like extra tools to maybe record certain lines while you're listening to another so you can hear back, or different things.
Yeah, I'm sort of seeing the way that the phones work is very much not with a rotary or anything like that. You know, it's that old style of the earpiece that you put up to your ear. You got the actual microphone part actually on the phone itself, and you like crank the line to actually get the operator's attention.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I
Sort
mean,
of like
whatever
the
they were.
Mary Poppins-esque.
Yeah, I know what you
phone,
mean.
if you
I just,
remember
were
that.
they still in regular use in the 50s? I don't know what they had then.
In this particular place, they are.
Sure. Just
That's
for the
why,
physicality
that's why
of it.
you've got the. That's why you got the operator who has to physically change the lines.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think they did still have the operators. It's more about just, it's like who. I'm picturing like you've got all the big jacks in front of you as well, right? Like plug in here, plug in there, connect them together, plug your headphones into one, and you can listen or whatever,
Yeah, I'm really picturing all these different lines, and you can sort of choose which one you're listening into at a time just by taking the line out and putting it in the other one. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Could work really well in VR as well. I don't know if you'd want to necessarily sit there for that long in VR, but just obviously the act of literally grabbing the plugs and plugging them into the switchboard and holding the thing up to your ear could be kind of neat.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's got a
I like it.
lot of stuff that we could do with.
3, 2, 1, click. Some good ones tonight.
Break.
Fake.
But it's break as in B-R-A-K-E.
Oh, okay. Fake break. Well, mine's fake as in F-E-A-K. No, I'm just kidding. That's not a word. F-A-K-E. Fake break. Okay. Fakey breaks. There was a game called, what was that? Breaky. There was a mobile game where you had no brakes and you were going down a hill and you just couldn't stop. That should have been called Fakey Breaks, but it was called something else. Maybe because I can't particularly think of any gameplay to go with this. Maybe this is a narrative hook that starts the game. Something around somebody's brakes being switched out or replaced with fake brakes. Whether it's car brakes, bicycle brakes, downhill go-kart brakes.
I kind of like the idea of this being like a kid's mystery.
Yeah.
That it's sort of like a
Enid
a kid's version of say like a Ace Attorney or something like that.
Like the famous 5 or the secret 7.
The first case has to do with your friend Polly, her bicycle brakes.
Yep.
While she was in the shops, she locked up her bike. She came back out. She started riding down a hill, and she went to turn on, hit the brakes, and nothing happened because they were actually fake.
Yep.
She crashed, but she's okay.
She's like broke her arm or something.
Yeah. So the idea is you're now, trying to talk to different people around and find witnesses and do some basic investigation sort of thing.
None of them take you seriously because you're a child, but that's part of the challenge. Harriet the spy.
I like the idea of having like a younger kid sort of around 7 or 8 that's, taking this very seriously, that's someone's like stolen her brakes and replaced them with like fake ones.
Well, I think maybe this is just the first in a number of sabotage attacks that are happening around your small little neighborhood. First it's Polly's brakes. Next, it's Jimmy's baseball is like replaced with one that's filled with dog shit. And so when he hits it, it explodes everywhere in the middle of the big baseball game. Maybe not dog shit. That's maybe a bit too. Oh, I mean, I don't
flour.
know. 8-year-olds. Maybe
flour.
Not. Yeah.
I
okay.
like the idea of this massive flour cloud. And it's like, oh my God, Jimmy just exploded the baseball.
And then because it's the 21st century, everyone's like, anthrax. Actually, that's more of it's the start of the 21st century, maybe. No, it's a bit more innocent than that, I think. And so it's all about, it's basically an investigation game where you're playing a preteen, and all the things that come with that. A bit of Goonies in there, less like adventuring through fucking dark sewers and more just running around town doing cool shit, but that sort of vibe, a bit of, you got cool inventions in your tree house and stuff. You got your base of operations.
Oh, I'm kind of seeing this as like, this is just the first of a series of mysteries that this kid's solving. And like this first mystery, once they solve it, they get their core group of kids together and they just sort of, it's kind of like as you said before, like the famous 5 or secret 7 or something like that. You've got that sort of, group of 4 kids that are just sort of like the I don't know, they're the miscreants sort of, or the outcasts.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they interact then with obviously the other kind of cliques in the town. You've got the older kids, like the teenagers, but who at first
I
view
think
you with derision, but maybe as you sort of start finding evidence, they start to respect you a bit more and maybe help you out.
Yeah, I kind of see them as like you got the 6th grade kids who are like they're like the big kids of the yard.
Yeah.
But then you've got like the grade 4 or grade 5 bullies that that give you hell, a la the really annoying kids in the movie It.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I'm seeing that they sort of get attacked and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, lots of running away on bikes. A bit of Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things is that they're trying to hit the same nostalgia points we're talking about.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's nothing supernatural.
No. I think
it's just.
I think maybe you get into some, again, like not in this case where it's just people sabotaging people's crap, but like the Secret 7 Famous 5, I think they end up solving like real crimes.
Yeah.
So I think you do end up getting sort of to some more serious, and not like murders and rapes and stuff, but robberies, maybe
It reminds me of a lot of South Park episodes in which, like, one of the kids ends up, helping the police out because they're like, getting him to come in and solve a murder and all this sort of stuff. They always go over the top with that sort of those sort of stories.
Yeah, for sure. I think that could be a really cool story. Fun for the environment artist. Do we set it in the 80s or is it modern?
70s.
Or even further back. Stand By Me, then.
Yeah, 60s, 70s. That to me
Stand By Me was set
like,
in the late 60s, right? It was made in the 80s, but it was set
I think so.
I think set in the 60s.
Yeah, because as adults it was set in the 80s, so
exactly,
it would have been about the 60s.
Yeah, I could see that.
Late 60s, early 70s, so you got... you're going to have to try and get some Beatles music and that sort of stuff, like, because that'll really set the period. I'm seeing this as like, if you really hit, like, the music pretty well, like, radio in the background and all this sort of stuff, you could really set the scene really well for the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, there'd be some great period stuff you could do just to make it, to make it really get that period right, for sure.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what the main characters. I'm kind of going like a rhyming with Polly. I kind of like the idea of
Molly.
Holly and Polly. They've
Holly,
been best
Molly
friends.
And Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then their friend Ollie.
Ollie. Yeah. This is why they're friends. They get teased a bit. But because of their rhyme names, but it's actually incidental that they all, rhyme.
I kind of like that this core group of 3 girls and this one guy called Ollie who, is sort of in there just to sort of be the token male in the group.
Totally. Well, yeah, I think he's just one of those guys who gets along better with girls at that age, and they're all a bit kind of dorky, a bit nerdy, a bit, I mean, one of the girls is probably in with the cool kids a bit more than the others. You sort of got to go down that route, but in general, they're all pretty smart kids who,
I like the idea that Molly actually has like an older brother who's in like the cool kid group.
Mickey and Molly. Their parents went with like alliteration. Whereas as a friend group, they all went with rhymes.
Oh, God. 3 to 1 click.
Yeah.
Crisp.
Yellow.
I mean, I think crisp and I think sort of a UK-ish crisps potato chips.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm thinking potato crisps that are in like a yellow packet is like the MacGuffin in this particular game.
Okay. Yeah, that would work if you're going narrative. I guess, yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Oh, even action.
Yeah. I guess I just meant rather than some sort of systems-based things where you're like making crisps or something. No, that's not interesting. No. Okay, so a bag of crisps. Maybe this is more like a stoner, like a UK stoner story. I feel like that's an area that's not too explored in games. Like maybe a bit of Dude, Where's My Car vibe mixed with
kind of like even
a
British Jay and Silent Bob sort of thing as well. It's a buddy pairing.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's come up with who this
Harold
is.
and Kumar.
Yeah. All right, let's make it a guy and a girl. They're friends. They like hooked up once when they were drunk, but decided they went into it. So now they just hang out, get stoned, eat crisps, and watch Neighbours.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I love it.
Look,
and it's old reruns too. Like
of course, it's all fucking
all Kylie Minogue and Craig McLaughlin and
the wedding between fucking I don't remember
Charlene.
Was it? Yeah, it was Charlene, wasn't it? Of course, it was fucking Charlene. And then we get to have people doing like British actors doing Aussie accents, like putting them on as a joke. Charlene. I can barely do a British accent, much less them putting on an Aussie accent.
So a British accent doing an Aussie accent saying the worst bloody name that Neighbours ever came up with.
So...
Oh, no, sorry. Toadie is the worst one that they ever came up with.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. All right, so this has got to be then wacky adventures ensue somehow. Is it that like their last bag of yellow crisps gets like knocked out the window, like they have to go out for more crisps?
Yeah, so I see that the very start of it is okay, now I'm trying to think of a name that isn't Holly, Molly or Polly. Emma. Yeah. Okay. So I like that Emma's sitting on the couch and she yells out to Barry,
sure.
Hey, Barry, we got any cheese and onion crisps left? And he goes
I like the idea that they literally just
it.
call them yellow crisps. They probably are something like cheese and onion, but like they just call them yellow. Barry,
we got any yellow left?
We got any yellow crisps left? Why can't I get into
a British accent?
Anyway. This is why we don't like do any actual character work on this show because we're terrible at it.
But okay, so I see Barry is sort of like a like one of those really dopey stoners.
Okay,
who goes to the cupboard
just and stands there for
half an hour, and then she finally comes out and goes, "Have we got any yellow?" And he goes, "Oh, no." And then they have to sort of like go off as they're going off. And
here's what I think. I think this is a co-op Metroidvania, sort of in the style of Guacamelee-ish.
Yep, love it.
So like side-scrolly kind of thing. One person obviously plays Barry. One person plays Emma. Maybe their friends come along if you want to up it to 4 players. I don't know. And then I don't know. Now I'm kind of regretting that I said that because is there combat? Is there? I wonder if you could go a bit more of a narrative Metroidvania. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still that sort of style, but it's not around combat as such. It's
around exploration.
It's around exploration. Shit. Yeah, maybe platforming rather than combat.
So. I like the idea that there's combat moves, like you can press buttons and they kick and punch and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's literally if you go into it thinking, oh yeah, there's a person coming down the street, you can start beating the shit out of them, and it's like yeah, that's one way to play,
right?
But you can also go the pacifist, and the pacifist version basically, it's more around you have conversations with people and find out stuff that way.
Okay.
So basically you can either go down the route of beating the shit out of people to get the information.
Yeah.
Or you just talk to them and solve dialogue puzzles and all that sort of stuff.
Maybe it depends on how stoned you are. I feel like you're going to be a bit more placid the higher your character is.
I just find it so funny. Every time that you sort of go into one of these games, you just expect, oh yeah, I've got all these combos I can do, and I'm seeing combos everywhere written. So you just start going in and you start doing them, a la, Guacamelee or Castle Crashers or something like that. But the funny thing is, all you really need the combos for is just breaking boxes and shit.
Right. Breaking open crisp bags. Yeah, look, I don't know if I like the idea of that. I don't know if gameplay wise it actually works that well now that I'm thinking about it, but it still kind of would be an interesting challenge to make that work. I kind of like maybe to unlock things you get like different strains of weed that like maybe power you up in different ways. Like you can blow big billows of smoke that will show hidden platforms. You can get one strain that will slow down time because it's just like really trippy, man.
And then I kind of like the idea that Barry doesn't smoke weed, but he's heavy into vaping.
Right, so he's just blowing mad cotton, and then you can like jump on the clouds, get up to secret areas and things.
Yeah, I love it.
Dude, where's my car? Dude, where's my Mini?
Dude, where's my yellow?
Dude, where's my yellow? There you go. Fuck, yes. Dude, where's my yellow? Title of the episode. 3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click.
User.
Nay.
Nay, as in N-A-Y.
N-A-Y.
Okay, so the opposite of yay. Yay or nay. Some sort of student government? I don't know.
It's a narrative of what happens in this world when someone reading through like one of those license agreements clicks nay.
Right, they do not agree.
They do not agree.
Okay.
But the software still gets installed.
So it's like a legal drama.
Satirical
legal drama.
I think it's like say they were trying to install Apple iTunes or something like that.
Why?
And
why would you ever do that? Anyway, go on.
But they did. And they clicked nay, but the software still got installed.
Okay.
And then from then on, like they started noticing, like they felt like they were being watched. And
like somewhere deep in that user agreement, it says if you don't agree with this, you are actually agreeing to like long-term surveillance by Apple computers. To ensure that you never install this software.
Well, what I'm sort of seeing is, that one of my favorite movies of all time is Cabin in the Woods.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do know that.
I'm picturing that in the user agreements, because no one ever reads these things.
Of course.
But basically, there are a number of clauses that if you don't agree to, you can actually unleash hell on earth.
Right.
Sort of thing. The whole idea is that anyone who installs one of these things, they're always going to click I agree.
Yes.
But as part of like this agreement to keep the old ones at bay, they have to give the option for the nay button. And this person just happens to have been the 100th person to click nay.
And that's like given them enough souls or something to...
Yeah, it's given them enough power to actually reverse the what's been holding them back.
Which is everyone clicking agree on the user agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's got just as much sense as what Cabin in the Woods does.
No, I'm not.
I just like this idea of this.
I'm not against it.
This supernatural sort of license agreement, and it's all on Apple products.
It's actually the end of users agreement. It's like that whole, how to cook man or something. What was it? It's covered in a smudge on your screen, on everybody's screen at all times.
It's a perpetual smudge. Whenever you go to read it, unless you've clicked nay, you don't actually see it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm picturing some Men in Black people start following you.
All right, what sort of perspective are we taking here? Is this first person, like a bit of Stanley Parable kind of walking sim?
Yeah,
humor.
Yeah,
is it humorous
or
is it serious? As in it's not actually serious because it's ridiculous, but like, does it take itself seriously? Like Cabin in the Woods
takes itself very seriously.
Like Cabin in the Woods takes itself seriously, right? Like it's funny to the watcher, but it's not. Yeah, like it's internally consistent to the people involved.
Exactly.
So it's like it's a bit more like that. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really selling itself into the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense. Like having, the gritty sort of feeling of you being followed. Sound design would be perfect for this, but the whole idea, kind of like what they folks from Resident Evil did with Resident Evil 7, where they put it into the eyes of the person. It made it feel so much more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I like that idea of, you're hearing footsteps from behind.
So does it become almost a bit of a horror game then, like a suspenseful?
I think, yeah. I think, yes.
Even a bit of Gone Home in the way that was telling a story through a lot of suspense. But obviously in this case, it escalates as opposed to becoming a really nice story.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. I think there can be like some stories being told through like text messages on your phone.
Yeah. And
then there's the occasional message that you get from like this creepy stalker sort of person.
Well, yeah, and I like that. Oh, I like the idea of a text message showing up on your phone, like a notification showing up on your phone, and it's like the start of a message that's really suspicious, but then you click on it and it's not in your messages. Because it's like been, it was accidentally sent, or it was like part of the fact that they're tracking you. Yeah,
I kind of like the idea that the phone that you're using, that's what you've declined the user agreement on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, when installing the phone for the first time, runs through a thing where you're doing some basic setup on this phone, and it gets to the whole yay or nay sort of thing, and that's where it sort of just takes over, and like either it's on purpose or it's just a sort of slip that she accidentally hits nay when she thinks that she's going to hit yay.
Well, maybe she goes to hit yay and the button moves. Because the old ones have enough power that they were able to influence it. Like they switch right before you click them or something.
Yeah, something like that. I like this idea of this story being sort of told through the phone.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're also
walking around in first person. But a lot of the exposition and stuff is happening on the phone for sure. Well, I just had this fucking image of, you get used to bringing up your phone to like do things on it. It's obviously a touchscreen. It's a modern phone. But things are starting to get creepier and creepier, and you bring, just like you've done a bunch of times, you bring the phone up to your face, and the front-facing camera is an eyeball that's watching you just for a second, and then like there's maybe an animation where she like drops it or something and like picks it up, and it's normal. But for a second,
the idea that there's like an LED on the front that basically says when the camera's active.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every now and again you'll see out of the corner of your eye that
it's turned on.
The LED is turned on, and then you look at it again and it's off.
Yep.
There's no recording like being made or anything like that, and it's like just being able to sort of
to play with
everyone needs to use a cell phone.
Well, and this is it, like, and people are so used to the functionality of how that works that you could do some really good subverting their expectations in a kind of creepy horror way. To really make that disturbing. Ooh. I'm never going to be able to look at my front-facing camera again.
The sort of thing that you're going through is, mundane tasks of you go to the supermarket and you're picking up, this, so that she can, make a meal for her girlfriend. And then, so that's part of your task. You go down there, but while you're there, like, you get a message from your girlfriend saying they can't make it tonight. And, you find that a bit weird because, it's been planned for a week, but just having, that sort of story being told through mundane tasks as well as weird stuff happening on the phone.
Yeah.
I think could be really quite powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's some really cool shit you could do there.
But I like the idea that, you get home and you haven't made dinner at all, and, then the girlfriend turns up and, gets angry because the whole thing was that coming over for a nice dinner. So you
or
start
something
realizing
like
that
it's this whole scene where, you had this shopping list and you go to the shops and you get all the stuff and you make the dinner, and then she turns up and you've actually served her like a gutted cat or something, and you didn't realize the whole time. Like,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
shifted your vision, and then you just look around the kitchen and there's just blood splattered everywhere and like viscera. This is maybe
and then you
late,
turn back
late
around
game.
and you turn back around and it's not that anymore. Like it is just the meal again.
Yeah, except
Like, so you don't know
except
whether
the
it's
girlfriend is run away screaming by this point. No, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I think
reckon there's time for one more.
3, 2, 1, click. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of
What's your word?
doctor
Maker.
making you. Oh, that doesn't work. Maker, doctor maker, Mr. Maker.
I'm just picturing like this weird, like, sort of necromantic
Mad scientist.
doctor, mad scientist, sort of putting together like this ultimate doctor.
Oh, putting together the doctor. I thought this was the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he maybe he's just a necromancer putting together like this. I'm just trying to think what type of.
Well, maybe
It's kind
this
of like
is
an amalgamation of all these bits and pieces of all these previously deceased doctors.
Well, because I thought of Mr. Maker, which do you know what that is?
Yes, I know what Mr. Maker is.
Okay, yeah. For those who don't, it's like a kids' art show. Maybe this is like a kids' necromancy show, where he's just like, it's the minute make. We're going to make this corpse come to life in less than a minute. This rat corpse. Yep. You can play along at home, kids. Just find your own rat corpse. If you don't have a rat corpse pre-made, kill a rat. The fresher, the better. And just chant.
Now, excise the heart.
Yeah. Excise the heart and make sure it's completely squeezed dry, full blood.
Now, connect the electrodes to the brain.
Well, wait, is this necromancy or is it like Dr. Frankenstein stuff? Or a little bit of both. Because I'm thinking like, okay, like draw a pentagram on the ground. Make it out of,
But I'm loving. Now, get your parents' permission to get 3 9-volt batteries.
Remember, kids, don't play with electricity without your parents' permission. And now, everybody, in your best voice, 3, 2, 1, it's alive! Oh, that's a good bookend for the beginning.
Billy, what did you do? You used 4 9-volt batteries and you burnt out the brain. You'll have to go get a fresh one.
Have to go get a fresh one. Go out to the rat house, and now remember, it only counts if you kill it with your bare hands. No weapons.
And don't snap the neck. We need
the spinal cord
vertebrae intact. It's a VR game.
Oh, God. I like it.
Yeah, so do I.
All right,
I love it.
Let's leave it there. I think that's enough gore, viscera, grossness for this week. Thank you for joining us on Bitstorm. We are part of the 8-Bit Collective. Go and see other great shows on the who are also part of the 8-Bit Collective on 8bit.net. You can find us at 8bit.net/Bitstorm, or you can also find all of our stuff at podchaser.com/Bitstorm. All of our social medias and YouTube and that sort of stuff. Leave us a rating, leave us a review. That'd be lovely. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you thought.
We are also part of the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Just search for AGP Network on Twitter, or look for the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook.
Yeah.
And finally, we'd like to thank Kuradust for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
Well, I just wanted to say on AGPN, if you're a regular listener to the show, you would have noticed last week's episode, the AGPN Shuffle episode came out. I just wanted to say thank you to Rowan and Blue, because this is the first opportunity since listening that we've had to say that. They did a really fantastic job. Came up with some really funny ideas, and I'm really glad that we got to hand the reins of Bitstorm over to them for a week. So go check out episode 118. and see how they did.
And we'd like to thank them for letting us take over their episode.
Absolutely. That may be out by the
podcast.
time you hear this. It may not, but it'll be out by the end of March. So go look for it. Thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. Dude, where's my yellow? Mr. Maker.
Mr. Maker. It's alive! Dr. Maker.